What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here, taking a look at pitching for tonight's slate. Hopefully, we get a lot better pitching than last night. I mean, it was basically opposite day. We didn't see Syndergaard have a good game. Paxton didn't have a good game. We saw Cy Miley come out and show up in Baltimore. So hopefully tonight we get something a little bit better. Do have some decent pitchers on the mound. We do have ourselves a Coors game as well. We also have some cheap arms on DK that you can use for SB2s if you're looking for some bats, some good cheap tournament arms. So there's kind of definitely a lot for everything that you're looking for. So get into the first one here. It's the Yankees and Pirates. Tyler Glasnow versus CC Sabathia. Obviously, the Pirates lineup without Starling Marte is certainly going to be one of the weaker ones to attack. In a friendly ballpark, like PNC, I don't actually mind CC Sabathia here. Not that CC Sabathia is flashing the old stuff like he used to, but he's just not allowing a ton of hard contact. I mean, 25% going back to last year, modest home run rate, 50% ground ball rate, which is encouraging. He's around the strike zone as well. Swing strike rate just at 10%. So CC Sabathia is a modest pitcher tonight. I don't mind him. 7,400 on DK is an intriguing price tag. You look at the Yankees, small favorites. Pirates right around a 4-run total, which I think is probably a little bit nice of Vegas to give them that. I just don't think the Pirates offense is really going to be that good here on out, and they weren't even off to a great start to start this year anyway. So far, dead last against lefties in terms of WOBA, 25% strikeout rate. Look at their hard contact, 27.7%, one of the lowest in the league. So for me, I mean, it's going to be open season with Pirates and find a way with pitchers. I mean, a couple guys that you have to worry about, obviously, from the right side, still McCutchen. But for the most part, these are guys that CC Sabathia should be able to get around. So I don't mind him tonight. Tyler Glasnow on the other side, not a guy that I'm looking to use, a guy who I do like in terms of the future. But on a full 15-game slate, he's not on my radar. Braves and Phillies next here. Jeremy Hellickson versus Bartolo Colon. Two guys that are kind of frustrating to roster. I mean, in terms of upside, not really there on both sides. I mean, a lot of lefties Colon's going to have to face, which is a little bit tough to get through, but we've seen him toss out quality outings before. If this was a smaller slate, I think you can give a good look at both these guys, but given the fact that it's 15 games, I'll be heading elsewhere. Hellickson and Colon are actually kind of similar. I mean, going back to last year, right around a 41% ground ball rate, 1.10 home runs per 9. Don't walk a ton of guys. Colon does allow a lot of hard contact. Hellickson doesn't. I mean, Colon's got a 5.6% swing strike rate, so 15-game slate, guys. No need to go down this road here. Even if they do toss decent outings, it's still not going to be enough. Boston and Baltimore, Dylan Bundy versus Drew Pomeranz. Looking at Pomeranz here, I mean, only 6,700 on DraftKings. I think that's a decent price tag for him. I mean, looking at FanDuel, 7,700 as well, but below 7K with the strikeout upside. I mean, Pomeranz hasn't looked too bad here throughout the first two starts. Is missing a ton of bats, but is obviously prone to that blow up just because, one, Baltimore does have a lot of power, but we also look at them against lefties this year. I mean, 27.7% strikeout rate so far. The power numbers haven't been there. Manny Machado, Mark Trumbo look lost. They are hitting the ball hard, which is obviously concerning, but for the most part, I mean, I think Pomeranz is definitely a good GPP option just because he is missing some bats and striking out guys right now. I mean, go back to last year. I mean, as a whole, injured or not, 27% strikeout rate. Can get a little bit iffy with the walks, which is the one concern there. Obviously, the ballpark and this team in general with a lot of power. There is reason for blow concerns, but obviously I do think Pomeranz is a great GPP option. I mean, it's a guy with 8+ strikeout upside and at a really cheap price. So I think there are safer options for just a little bit more, but Pomeranz and GPPs on both sides is definitely playable. On the other side of things here, Dylan Bundy has had tough numbers against Boston in his career. Definitely not a bad arm. I do like the potential that he has. He does miss bats, does have strikeout upside, but as far as Boston goes, I mean, not really a team to target. They don't strike out a ton against right-handed pitching, just 16.7% to start the year, 40% hard contact rate. So I'm off of Bundy here. No need to use him on a 15 game. Cubs Reds next year. Tim Adelman, not a guy that I'm looking at tonight. John Lester, one of the higher price guys for me. I'm not completely on him tonight. I mean, I think I prefer Verlander and Kluber at the price, but I definitely see some, there's obviously positives here, but you look at that Reds lineup, I mean, filled with Billy Hamilton, Jose Peraza. These guys are going to be running. Eugenio Suarez, Zach Kozar can steal a base. Joey Votto can as well. I do think this is a tougher time for Lester to get through it. He pitched okay against Cincinnati last season. He was definitely decent. He didn't allow a lot of production, but fantasy numbers for the price tag obviously weren't that great. Lester's numbers, it's nothing against him. It's just more of his ability to, basically hold runners on. If we see him kind of creating trouble for himself, it's a little bit of an issue at the price tag. So Lester really isn't getting the nod for me at the price. I don't know if I'll have any real shares of him tonight, especially with the way the Reds are swinging the bat. Against lefties, we felt free to target away so far this season. Not striking out as much. The ISO, everything kind of adds up here early on. So I prefer Kluber. I prefer Verlander. I prefer cheaper options at the price. Astros Rays, Mike Fiers versus Alex Cobb in Tropicana. Fiers, not a guy I'm particularly looking at tonight. Usually, the Rays give a big bump to opposing guys. Fiers just hasn't really looked all that great to start the season. I think this was a 7 or 8 game slate. I might be okay with taking a shot with him in a GPP, and it's a borderline GPP at best just because of the Rays strikeout rate. I mean, it's super high against right-handers. 26.5%, but there is a lot of power in that from the left side as well. On the other side, Alex Cobb, I do like quite a bit here tonight. You look at this Houston offense against right-handers. So far, I mean, nothing really exciting has gotten on. I mean, they are hitting the ball hard. The wall was decent. But still, we haven't seen a ton of big production games. I think on the road, too, they'll struggle a little bit more in that ballpark. This is a tougher lineup to get through. I mean, it's a lot deeper than it was in previous years, but Cobb's an interesting right-hander where I don't mind. I mean, healthy Alex Cobb, this guy was definitely an above-average right-hander. Decent changeup as well. So I do have some interest in him. Cobb, definitely a GPP guy you can consider tonight. Is an underdog at home, which is a little bit of a concern, but it is a deep GPP play. Nationals and Mets, Jacob DeGrom versus Tanner Rourke. Looking at this Nationals lineup, I mean, definitely tough to get through a lot of lefties here. DeGrom at home, very solid. You look at this Nationals team, I mean, they've been stellar so far. They're not striking out a ton. They have a good walk rate. Not hitting the ball extremely hard, though, as a team, which is one thing to note. As far as DeGrom goes, I mean, is a home favorite. You look at the Nationals right around 3 runs. Daniel Murphy might be out of the lineup. This might be a good time to get some low ownership on DeGrom at home. I don't mind him there where he's always thrived in his career. DeGrom, I mean, is up and at him with the gas this year. I mean, fastball is up. It looks good. 25% strikeout rate going back to last year, missing bats. He doesn't walk a ton of guys. Citi Field this time of year is certainly playable for pitchers. So I'm okay with DeGrom. Definitely a tournament guy. Once again, I still prefer Kluber and Verlander and Cash. As far as Tanner Rourke goes, overpriced. I feel like I can get cheaper bats. I don't think he'll have a bad outing, but I do think you can get cheaper production. Royals and Rangers next year. Cole Hamels versus Nate Karns. Nate Karns, I don't want any piece of. Cole Hamels, interesting GPP option tonight. Look at this Royals team. Definitely bad. I mean, against lefties, 25% strikeout rate so far this year. 240 WOBA, 21.5% hard contact rate. So, I mean, really, as far as right-handed bats go, I mean, Lorenzo Cain's your big threatening lefty masher. No disrespect to him. I mean, I do like Lorenzo Cain. I do like target him against lefties, but not lefties of Cole Hamels' status. So I think Hamels is a good GPP option because, one, you look at his numbers at home last year, they're not pretty. But you look here, I mean, good favorites. Should get some run support against Karns. Wind blowing in a little bit. Keep an eye on the weather. We're starting to get some warmer options here. So obviously, thunderstorms are always popping up in the Midwest. But I do have a lot of interest in Cole Hamels and GPPs at his price tag, a little bit lower than some of the other options. So he's certainly an intriguing lefty tonight. Cardinals and Brewers next here. This one for me, stay away. I mean, Willie Peralta has looked good. The Cardinals offense has looked okay. I just think Adam Wainwright on the road struggles against this Brewers offense. If one of these guys has a good outing, so be it. I just don't want to be any part of it on a full slate. So Indians and White Sox, Jose Quintana, Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber not up to the best start, but obviously we look one of the more talented pitchers going tonight. Big strikeout rate potentially here. The upside's really there. 12.4% swinging strike rate, but going back to last year, 6.7% walk rate. You like that out of Kluber. Definitely one of the guys that I'll be keying in on tonight. Should get some run support even with Jose Quintana. Just with this lineup, he's a -147 road favorite. Not the best ballpark, but it's a cool night. I don't expect the ball to be really flying out anyway. And you look, White Sox against right-handed pitching so far this year, it's bad. I mean, they're not walking a lot, 5.7% walk rate, near 25% strikeout rate, one of the lower ISOs in the league, 265 WOBA, which ranks 29th. I mean, feel free to fire away at Kluber, all formats. I mean, his recent production hasn't really been there, and it's kind of lowered his price a little bit, but this is definitely a time to jump on board and get a hold of him as well. And Quintana, just not priced where I want him to be, priced around the guys that are in better spots. I just don't see use him in this matchup. Tigers Twins, Hector Santiago, no thanks. Justin Verlander definitely has some interest in, even with the Twins offense hitting the ball well. Still an average strikeout rate, 21.4%. They are making some hard contact. Power has come more against lefties than it has against righties so far this season. They are walking a little bit more, but you look at Verlander, I mean, dialed up a lot of strikeouts against Minnesota last season. You look, that strikeout upside has been there, 28% going back to last season. Home runs have been a little bit of an issue, 1.21, but nothing concerning. Is around the strike zone, doesn't walk a ton of guys as well, which is nice against a Twins team that's being a little bit more patient at the plate. Verlander's another road favorite. Twins have just a 3.5 run total. I do like Verlander. Verlander and Kluber definitely stepping in as the two that I'm looking to pay up for. Giants and Rockies next. Tyler Chatwood versus Johnny Cueto. I don't have any interest here. Johnny Cueto, might have a respectable start for being in Coors, but still better options to target than these two guys in that ballpark. Dodgers and Diamondbacks, once again, no issue for me here with taking some offensive guys, but as far as pitchers go, Taijuan Walker, yes, he's looked decent in his last two starts on the road. Back here at home, where Chase is, on par with Coors and better than Coors so far this season. Against the Dodgers offense that's patient, might be banged up with some injuries, but still a lot of power. I'm staying away from both these guys, and especially Alex Wood against an Arizona team that really thrives in Chase Field. So not looking to use them. Seattle, Oakland, Sashi Iwakuma, Sean Manaea. Iwakuma I don't want any part of on a full slate. Manaea, some interest in here. I mean, I do like his numbers towards the end of the last year. Can miss some bats. I mean, 12.2% swinging strike rate going back to last year. Look at the Mariners, off to a rough start against lefties. Not striking out a ton, though, which is something to note. But look at Manaea, home favorite by a slight. 3.5% or 3.5 run total there for the Mariners. Only real bats, I mean, that you're really concerned with right now is, Taylor Motter, Nelson Cruz. But you do have guys like Danny Valencia from the right side. Mitch Haniger has been more against righties than against lefties so far in the small sample size. As far as, the A's go, a little bit too much lefty here for me to really look at Iwakuma, especially at that price tag. We've talked about a couple of guys that are in better spots as far as at the price range. So Manaea, more of a late slate option for me than anything. I don't know how much I'll be using him in the full slate, but it's definitely an option if you do need to save some cash. I'm okay with using him. Blue Jays and Angels, Matt Latos versus Alex Meyer. The way the Blue Jays offense is playing, Alex Meyer at 4.7 on DraftKings. I mean, if you want to get some bats and you get all the bats you can, it's not bad. I mean, this guy does have a mid-90s fastball. Has got hit hard a little bit, but we've actually seen this guy throw some decent innings towards the end of the year. As a tournament move, I don't think you can go wrong there if you want to pair him with a Kluber or a Verlander and really stack bats. It's definitely an okay move if you're going that route, because you'll get the Angels -142 favorites. Blue Jays, the run line's been dropping basically since last night. Started at about 4.3, 4.4. It's down to about 3.9. This offense just really is not good. Toss them in that ballpark, it's not going to make them better. So I think Alex Meyers is an intriguing GPP SP2 on DraftKings. Marlins Padres, Adam Conley versus Trevor Cahill. I have some interest in Adam Conley here. It's the guy who can miss some bats, 10% swinging strike rate, 21% strikeout rate. The walks are a little bit of an issue. Home runs can be at times, but in that ballpark, I don't mind it. You look at the Padres against lefties. I mean, Will Myers is obviously the guy you got to watch out for. 23.5% strikeout rate. We saw a guy like Patrick Corbin last night go in and strike out a ton of guys. Gave up a couple of the home run to Will Myers. Struggled a little bit here and there, but definitely paid off his price tag. I can definitely see that going with Conley tonight. So I don't mind going back to the well here. I mean, you don't need a ton out of him, but I think at the price you could definitely get GPP type upside from him, especially if the strikeout rate and the command is there. But it's definitely a GPP move. I do think you can fire away with him. As far as Trevor Cahill goes, there's no reason to go down that road on a full slate. So let's wrap things up here. You can head over to DaveFantasyCafe.com, check out our great tools and content.